Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning, the 18th day of June, 2025. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the airwaves here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we're broadcasting at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice anywhere else on the planet, you've gone to our website to do that, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us this morning. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. So glad that you are with us, because coming up this morning, we are talking with the new director of the Farmington Museums. Nathan Augustine is here. He'll be talking a little bit about his goals for the organization and much, much more. We're also going to be joined by Christa Chapman. She is, of course, the Director of Cultural Affairs for the City of Farmington. So stay tuned for our conversation this morning, coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then next hour, Mick Hess will take over the studio, our weekday classical music program, Roving with the Arts. He'll be here beginning at 9:06 on KSJE. It's a special 90-minute version of the show on Wednesdays, of course, because that takes us to 10:30, and right on Four Corners, our local and regional author program. Delcherie Gladden will be here at 10:30 talking with author Christopher Barnes. That's part 2 of her interview with him about his book, Mesa Verde's Secret Garden, and much, much more. You'll hear that today at 10:30 on KSJE. Don't forget, you can connect with us on other social media platforms in addition to Facebook and YouTube. How about Instagram? How about Blue Sky? And how about X? Check us out and stay connected with KSJE. And if you're a podcast listener, we remind you KSJE publishes podcasts almost every day. It's available at places where you're probably already listening to podcasts. So check it out. Subscribe for free and discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is currently a sunny Wednesday morning, 66 degrees outside. We are expecting more sunshine today, more hot weather, 90 degrees for a high today in Farmington. Clear skies tonight with a low near 60. Sunny and even warmer tomorrow with a high of 96 on Thursday, 64 overnight. Then by Friday, sunshine 95, sunny and 89 on Saturday, 87 on Sunday, and 87 again on Monday, and maybe a chance of a shower developing on Tuesday. We'll keep track of that and let you know. Back with my guests with more right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, whose vision is to deliver world-class care, making life better for the communities they are privileged to serve. Offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so residents can live life better here. San Juan Regional Medical Center, community-owned and operated, here for you. I'm back in Studio A with my guest this morning. As I mentioned, the new director of the Farmington Museum System, Nathan Augustine, is here. Good morning. Welcome to KSJE and welcome to Farmington.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you here. Also joining us here in the studio, Christa Chapman is here this morning as well. She is the city's Director of Cultural Affairs. Always great to have you back as well. Good morning.
Thank you, Scott. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you both for coming in. And Mr. Augustine, let's start with you a little bit about coming to Farmington from your most recent location, which is the Quad Cities area of Iowa, right?
That's right.
And you were the director of a museum, or what was the situation in Iowa?
It was a unique situation. I was the curator of the corporate art collection for John Deere.
Okay.
So,
gotcha. A big company in Iowa and in the world, basically, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They have one of the best corporate art collections in the world, and of course, obviously a large collection of tractors, antique tractors and combines and all the other farm equipment.
Yeah.
And I manage both of those collections for them.
Very interesting. Got you. So that's a bit different maybe than a museum, but also similar to a museum, it sounds to me.
It was museum-type tasks for an organization that wasn't a museum.
Right.
So I think that actually set me up well for working for a city that has a museum system. So,
Right.
yeah.
But would they be open to the public for some things?
We had a lot that was open to the public for some things. We also would loan to museums all over the world.
Gotcha.
I traveled frequently with that job to deliver the best of the collection that they had there to those museums, and made connections with those organizations as well.
Got you. And then your history, though, too, prior to going to John Deere, was with other facilities as well,
Right.
correct?
Yes, I worked for a total of 4 different museums, helped open 3 different museums, and I've lived and worked all over the western U.S.
There you go. Very good. Christa Chapman, then he was the guy you were looking for, it sounds to me, right? To run the museum system in Farmington, and it is a system. I think I always like to remind people that we have multiple museums and museum properties in Farmington, and so Nathan is overseeing all of them, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep. So yeah, we needed somebody with a diverse background that understood lots of different aspects, and like you mentioned, I think it's a really benefit that he's worked outside of maybe a more traditional museum system to work with the city, and yeah, we were just pleased that he knew some about the Southwest and seemed to really get us here in Farmington and connected with the staff right away. Those are all important things too.
Right. Very, very good. We were talking about your time in Phoenix, so we're not that hot, so that's maybe one positive thing. And so you've been here for how long?
I've been here for a little bit more than 2 months.
2 months. Yeah. And so what have been your impressions so far with your boss sitting right next to you?
Well, actually, I've been familiar with Farmington specifically, or at least the Four Corners region, for a long, long time.
Right.
And we were traveling through here, my family and I, 3 years ago, I think it was, and stopped in Farmington for the night, like so many people do, and got up the next morning to head on our way. And as we were driving outside of town, my wife said, this is a really nice place. We ought to consider retiring here.
Oh, see?
So, yeah, now we're here, and we're hoping to be here through retirement, at
right.
least. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And so your family is not quite here yet, we were
Not
talking
quite
to
yet.
me, but they
That's
will
right.
be. And so they're finishing up school and things like that.
They've finished school now. They're selling our house out there. We put an offer in on a house here, so we're excited to move things forward. We're actually, I haven't even told Christa yet. Last night we were talking about a move-in date that we're still working out, but excited to get the family out here and move forward with life in Farmington.
There you go. Breaking news, Christa Chapman.
Yeah.
How about that? So we like there you go. Very, very good. And so since you've been here, and again, looking at the facilities of the museum system and all that it offers, a little bit different focus, depending on what facility that you're talking about. But what does that say to you, I guess? Are the wheels turning about maybe thinking about what you could offer or what you can bring to the system here?
Yes, definitely. We have 4 facilities for those of you who aren't familiar. We have the main Farmington Museum, of course.
Right.
Everyone knows about that. We also have the Riverside Nature Center and E3 Children's Museum and Science Center. And again, that's another one that lots of people know about. And then we also have the Museum of Navajo Art and Culture right downtown. And each of those do have their own specific focus. I think it's great that we have such a broad focus, but with separate institutions for each one of those focuses. It would be really difficult to cover all of those areas in one building.
Right.
So the fact that we have so many is a real benefit, and enables us to really focus in on what those museums' missions are.
Sure.
And to get the appropriate staff up and running for those places as well.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Christa Chapman, that's been part of the city's, I think, goal is to try to have these unique, different facilities under the umbrella of the Farmington Museums, but also offering unique programming and unique exhibits and unique things, activities at all those different sites.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, there's a huge benefit to having a single mission and focus for that building, but it also allows us to share staff and ideas across culturally culturally within the museum. So, for example, Sherry at E3 does a lot of programming now down at the Nature Center, and so she's doing so there's taking her science expertise and taking it down to another setting, and so it really does allow us to be very accessible for the community as well, because each facility has their own following, but then it really allows us to broaden the offerings for each group, and maybe getting out to the nature center is too far for you, but you can still get really great programming closer to your home as well. So,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And so a lot of things I know that I have enjoyed at the Farmington Museum have been some of the traveling exhibits, some of the things that have been brought in that if I went to any other town to go see the same exact exhibit would probably cost me double or triple
Yes.
the ticket price of the local museum. And so is that something that you're hoping to continue or maybe expand upon as funding allows?
Yeah, we definitely want to continue doing traveling exhibits. That's bringing outside culture to Farmington is one of our major goals. We are going to be looking at how to best strategize with that, how to get the most exhibit for our money when we do traveling exhibits. I think that it's easy to kind of just go for the big splash, and that has proven to be a bit of a burden sometimes on the staff. It's a really heavy lift for us. We have a fairly limited staff. But they're fantastic, and they've done some incredible work. And that's actually one of the biggest things that attracted me to this job was the quality and dedication of the staff here. They're really amazing.
Right. Definitely. And there's room, certainly, for traveling exhibits,
Certainly.
at least at the moment, at the main museum and
Right.
other facilities, too, we should say. But really exciting. But I know they're not cheap either,
Right.
and that's the other issue, right? If you can find, I guess, maybe some corporate support or
Sure.
the Farmington Museum, which is Foundation, which is near and dear to my heart, also helps, I know, to bring in exhibits from time to time and helps with other expenses, too.
Right.
And so all that has to, I guess, kind of come together.
So
Yes.
and I'll jump in because poor Nathan showed up, and we had just signed contracts on like a year and a half's worth of traveling exhibitions.
Here's
We
what's
said,
coming.
Here you go.
Right.
So that really is a goal that we had the last year, and Nathan's been happy to pick that up. But as he mentioned, those really huge blockbusters, that's like your entire divisions, like the whole museum system's budget almost is blown for 3 months, and it's not that those aren't beautiful and stunning, but we're going to try another method for about a year and see. So we're doing a lot of traveling exhibits, but the price tag is a little lower, and it allows us to keep that space activated year round, and then we make it really immersive and meaningful to people by adding programming,
Right.
additional programming to that. But we're also doing things at the Museum of Navajo Art and Culture. We're going to do something at Riverside Nature Center, so it's not all going to be focused just on the main
Right.
museum. So
Gotcha.
he walked in and was like, "Whoa, I have to." Okay.
Right.
One of the exhibits that I'm really excited about
Yeah.
that was already scheduled before I got here is an exhibit from the Smithsonian Institution on lowrider culture.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Right.
I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a really fantastic exhibit, and they actually for this exhibit encourage you to add local flavor to the exhibit. So we're working with some of the local and regional car clubs in the area, lowrider clubs, and we're hoping and planning and expecting to get at least 4 cars, lowrider cars, show quality cars in the exhibit space, and then have more vehicles of various kinds in the atrium area. So it's
Nice.
going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a really dramatic exhibit, I think, and something that we hope will be very popular.
I bet it will be. Very true. And when is that coming? Do we know?
That is
I'll ask you to
coming,
check
actually,
your
that's coming
schedule.
April 26th of 2026.
Next
or
year.
25th, yeah, next year.
next spring. So
Yep.
we'll look forward to that. Very good. Anything coming? What is the schedule look like? I guess in the next few months. Then can we go over that?
Yeah. Gosh, I should have had my list.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's all right.
Thank you. We have so right now we have the big weaving exhibition in there, and then also pictorials, so
Right.
which are based on our collections. If you haven't seen those, they're
Yeah.
incredible. So we're going to be doing another fun objects from the collection. So we have so many cool things that are in our collection storage that don't get out and seen. So we are working on that as an in-house, and then we have a show called we're going to have 2 dual shows. So it's called 2 Minutes to Midnight and then Atoms for Peace. And so one of them is about the artwork of Armageddon. So like these fallout shelters and so, some of that. It's very cool.
Okay.
As a
I'll
Fallout
take your
fan.
word for it, Christa Chapman.
It's very cool. And then
Okay.
Atoms for Peace, which we're actually borrowing from the the National Atomic Museum in Albuquerque, so we'll be running those. Then we have the Lowrider exhibition. Oh, this fall at Riverside Nature Center, we're going to have a show on bugs. It's called Small Wonders, so it's kind of a poster show, but very cool.
It sounds like your target audience for that is 12-year-old boys, but I'm not sure. Maybe
or
not.
People who like bugs.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, I can agree with you.
We are not also ignoring the fact that we have a lot of really amazing local artisans and artists. I shouldn't just say artisans, but so the San Juan Quilters will be in between these larger shows. The Plein Air society will have a show. The Four Corners Photographic Society will also be in there. So those people have shown just really incredible world-class art in our facilities, and they'll still be in there. So
sure.
Oh, this fall too, we're going to be doing a big Connie Mack installation down at the Civic Center.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Right around that time. So we're getting outside the building too, but.
Well, that's a big part of it too, as well, right? Is to be able to spread kind of some of the museum-ness around the community, things like that. With Connie Mack, this is the big 60th anniversary year for the Baseball World Series, and so we're excited about that and being able to do that.
Yeah, we'll have all the programs on display in the gallery space that's upstairs, and then the couple weeks right around Connie Mack, we'll have some objects from our collection, like actually in the lobby area. So that'll be really fun. So we've got this incredible quilting show. It's called Fierce Planets. It's like a national or international touring show. That's just, I don't know. We've got a lot of really fun textures and things coming through.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm going to get you sold on the 2 minutes to midnight. It's very cool.
I'm sold on it.
Aren't you into prepping? Come on.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. That's true. I've got enough Diet Dr. Pepper to last me for months. I'm in good shape, but I like it. And so I think it's really cool. And of course, a lot of these are from other institutions, as you mentioned, and Smithsonian and other things. And it's all this kind of effort to have that museum system to be able to talk and see what's available and bring them in and do some of those things, as well as the local exhibits that you mentioned as well, like the quilting and the plein air and some of those things as well. So that's always a great mix of things to be able to do and to be able to, again, spread it around the community, like the gallery at the Civic Center on the upper level, and to be able to showcase some of that, so folks who are at a play or some performance at the Civic Center, they remember the museum, and vice versa, so things along that line. Very, very cool. And so when you look around town, it seems like, and maybe this is a question for Christa, is there's really been an effort by the city over the last few years about cultural affairs. We've talked with Randy West about what he's doing with performing arts and things like that. The downtown art, I think, is another great example of the city kind of putting its money where its mouth is, for lack of a better term, to say, why can't we spread this around and talk about the city's commitment to culture and helping our community experience more of it.
Yeah. So, it's just, was that a question?
I don't know. As it was leaving my mouth, I'm like, I don't even know if that's a question
I can talk
for
about
Christa,
it.
but let me go up at the end.
Yeah,
Christa?
Sorry. No, the city is very invested. I mean, they think that they recognize from an economic development standpoint, too, that art and culture really help create a sense of place. It gives Farmington a personality. It defines and it shows to the world like who we are. And so, they have been very invested in various projects. We are in the middle too of reapplying for the Arts and Culture District, which is another overlay downtown, and the new department will be really involved in that. So it's been amazing to see how much support and how much value that they do find, because in rural communities sometimes that's rare to see that. So and they recognize the impact that particularly the performing arts at this point is making on young people in this community and locals too, who haven't had maybe always a venue to be able to participate in the performing arts at the same level that they are now. So that's really great.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
That was another thing that really attracted me to this job and to this community, is their commitment to culture. The museum system specifically, of course.
Sure.
But I've got a daughter who's very interested in musical theater, and she's coming here at the start of her senior year of high school, which is usually a terrible time to move, but she's very excited about moving here because of the musical theater.
Those opportunities, perhaps, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, that was a good sell.
Right,
On
exactly.
Mom and Dad's part, I would say, right? to do that. So good job with
On the city
that.
of Farmington's part,
Well,
honestly. So.
very true. So, but that's great. And Christa, as you mentioned too, with these things that the city is doing, and obviously, I think a lot of folks maybe lose sight of the fact that the city can't do everything. But if you partner with the existing artistic community and the existing quilters and plein air painters and things like that, the city can help to promote them, enhance that experience and things like that. And so there are certain things that the city can do and has been doing when it comes to outdoor recreation and cultural affairs and things like that to spur, hopefully, maybe even other private businesses to thrive in town.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially when we look at the work downtown, and then also, and we can't take credit for this, but being able to partner with people like Northwest New Mexico Arts Council with what Flo is doing. So like we just helped write a letter of support for a grant that she's applying for. So we really do try and leverage each other's resources and support each other to create that. But part of it is trying to create, an entrepreneurial environment where people succeed. And mentioning the outdoor recreation part too, like we know that a lot of outdoor recreation enthusiasts who are willing to travel, they want to do the outdoor rec stuff, but then in the evenings, I mean, they also have a great love for art and culture, and they want to really feel like an authentic connection to the communities that they're visiting. And again, art tells that story better than a lot of things, food, art,
Right.
those kind of things. So, so it all really just gels well together. You can't just have the mountain bike trails. You also have to have great places for people to dine and museums for them to visit and things like that. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Very true. And I think more and more folks are maybe discovering that. You may see some of the data too from the visitors who come and maybe are pleasantly surprised at all those extra add-on things there are to do once they get off their mountain bike and take a look around.
Because that's what makes people stay and not just stop on their way to somewhere else, is the fact if they can stop for the day, like, oh my gosh, I thought I was just going to ride this trail, but now I didn't realize there's all this other cool stuff to do. So
Yeah, exactly. There you are. Very good. Making Farmington more of a destination for some of these travelers to stick around. And so Nathan, Augustine, as you get underway to put your stamp on the museum system and things like that, what's some of your, I guess, short-term goals, would you say?
Well, I have more goals than I can keep track of. But short term, I'm really interested in kind of raising the profile of the museum system in town. I mentioned earlier that a lot of people weren't aware that we have 4 facilities. I want that to become well known, and I want all of the sites to be get more visitation. That's probably my shortest term goal, is to increase visitation at all of these places, and also to just raise the bar of the quality of the work that we're doing. I said earlier that the staff's been doing fantastic work, and that's very, very true. There's always room for improvement.
Right.
And that's what I want to do, is just to continue to increase. I want people to walk into the museum and say, wow, this is an amazing place, and I had no idea that a town the size of Farmington could pull off something like that. That happens already, and I just want it to happen more and at an even higher level.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, good luck with those goals
Right.
and many more. You're welcome back here anytime to give us an update on some of those things. I always like to give a shout out to the city of Farmington, which of course is the organization that runs the museum system, and by no mistake, the city has maintained that the admission to the museums are always free. I think that's a big plus, and I think that allows for anybody in our community and outside our community to come and enjoy the museums. I know the Museum Foundation certainly will accept donations and memberships and things like that to do that, but the fact that you can keep admission at zero to share these things with the community, I think, is a big kudos to the city. So please pass that along to the city council.
Yeah, we
Talk
do
to them,
try and
Christa.
always, I will. Scott Michlin says. No, we are always thankful to them for sure for their support. And actually, we had some staff, we had customers, visitors, patrons come in, and we're like, man, I can't believe E3 is free, because that's unique. And this is so amazing. How do you do that? And so the staff had asked a little bit, like, how do we do that? So we were able to give a little civics lesson about how supportive city council is to basically, approving a budget where we're able to keep that really low cost.
Right.
So yeah, and we do sometimes with the big traveling exhibits we have to charge, but for the most part we try and keep it.
Very true.
Yeah. So.
But it's usually less than what you'd pay at a different museum for the same exhibit,
gosh,
is what
yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
too.
for
So that's
sure.
true.
Yep.
Before I let you both go, there's a couple of events that are coming up at the museum in the not too distant future, including this afternoon. The big yo-yo workshop is happening today at the museum, and so we just want to give a shout out to that. And my colleague Luke Renner, who is the yo-yo expert
It's incredible.
in 4 states and beyond.
Yeah,
So,
and he'll be back for the ice cream social on the 4th of July at E3,
Right.
Which is a fundraiser for the Farmington Museum Foundation, who, as you mentioned, Scott, are great funders. They've given us more money this year than I don't know. I can't. They've increased our budget by 20%. Their donations have been so generous.
Wonderful.
So please go support them and see Luke.
that's terrific. So the workshop is today from 1:30 to 2:30, and then again the Yo Down Showdown is on July 4th
Yeah.
at 1 o'clock with registration at noon at the E3 Children's Museum and Science Center there on North Orchard Avenue. So that's where you can find that coming up. It's BYOYY. Bring your own yo-yo.
I think they have them for sale there at E3 store. So
Okay.
if you forget
Smart.
it at home,
Okay, you got it covered.
yeah.
Very good. It's summer, and so the Summer Terrace Concert Series is back on the outside the Farmington Museum, the main museum on Main Street there, along the beautiful and flowing Animas River, which we are excited about this year. And so the next performer you have scheduled is this Saturday. Gordon Peck will be there,
Yeah.
6 to 7:30 p.m. So again, bring your blanket or chair and
Yeah.
enjoy some free music again.
The weather is gorgeous right now.
Right.
Don't miss
Absolutely.
It is.
So, yeah.
It's a little shady around the evening time too on that side of the museum,
Yeah.
which is nice as well. So that is coming up. And then the other event that I just wanted to point out on Wednesdays is down at the the Museum of Navajo Art and Culture, and that is the Little Feather Big Stories events that you have down there. So another cool event again to explain more about the Navajo language and some hands-on crafts activities and more. That's every Wednesday, 1 to 2, downtown. So very good. Thank you both for coming in. Again, welcome. Great to have you here, and looking forward to all the exciting things that will be happening at the Farmington Museum System over the next few
Thank you
months.
very
So
much. I'm
Perfect.
very
Thank
excited.
you.
thanks for coming in. My guest this morning from the city of Farmington with me here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.